All right, hey everybody, and welcome. Oh, look, the little subscribe things. It worked all by itself. I didn't have to push a button, which is awesome. It's Friday. If you're seeing me, Friday. If you're seeing me in past recording, just pretend it's Friday. That's really that's really how we roll here. My name's Kevin. I am the founder of Cyber Social Hub and the host of obviously the Cyber Sleuth Show. All those S's in it makes it fun to say. And it's a little show that we do every Friday. We just talk about nerdy stuff in digital investigations or any type of really investigations. And today is no different. We will get to that here though in just a minute. But what I like to go ahead and ask is number one, what state is everyone? If you want to put a city, that's fine as well. If you're in a different country, where are you guys at? Now, with that being said, I should preface this a little bit. Our primary channel that we broadcast out to, because we're streaming out to, where all do we stream out to right now? YouTube, LinkedIn, X, Facebook, and Rumble. And I think that's it as of right now. Those basic pieces. And then in post, when the show is obviously done, because we are live, believe it or not, about a 15-second delay. After that, then it goes over to a service that we use called Podbean, and you can get it on all of your, just the audio part of it, on all your favorite podcast stuff that's out there. So that's kind of how it rolls. So awesome. I see people from, oh, hey, let's just go and look here. See if I can bring that up. There we go. We got people from Bali, got people from California, which is, clear on the other side of the United States for me. So very cool. So wherever you guys are at, with that being said, I can only see chats from YouTube. That was the whole point of my conversation earlier, right? Bringing where we're all broadcasting from. Hey, there's Alex. Nice to see you guys. Appreciate everybody hanging out and joining us today. Now, I'm also curious, and I'm aware of this 15-second delay here in YouTube and most of the other platforms as well that we're pushing out to. Are you guys a member of Cyber Social Hub? If not, why not? It's free. I did. All right, let's not mute myself. There we go. So all you got to do is scan that QR code right there, and you can get to be a member. It's absolutely free. A lot of different resources, a lot of law enforcement in there. So it's not like it's a big chatty community. It's just when people need information, they're going to go in there and they're going to ask for it. But again, I occasionally post something fun, at least try to keep everybody engaged. So there's a few good conversations that are going on in there right now. All you got to do is sign up and get access to it. There is a mobile app too, and I forgot to put that on here on this screen. We're on the Apple Store and Google Play, so we're on both. So you can go and download the app right on your phone. It's like, oh, just what I need, another app. Yeah, we have it. That way we can push notifications to you and annoy the living crap out of you. No, we don't do that too terribly often, but there it is nonetheless. All right, so with that, again, welcome everyone. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up my guest. So she's all set and ready back in the green room. I see her there. Looks great. All right, we're going to bring her up. There we go. It's Melissa Kaiser. How are you,
Good
Melissa?
green. I'm great. I'm glad it's Friday. How are you?
I am good. It's it's funny. I think I mentioned this to you before we went live. Is I own a business, so on Friday when I say that, it's just another day that ends in Y. So, and I know
Mhm.
you probably feel the same
Mhm.
way most
Yeah,
days.
yep.
It's like
Every day.
Saturday and Sunday. It's just those are the two S days, and that's really it.
Yeah. I know everyone always says like, "Oh, it's Friday, it's the weekend." And I'm like, "Is it?" Because I work seven, I who knows what the weekend is or means in my world. So, but it's still happy Friday nonetheless.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Everyone else can enjoy and be happy
Mhm.
on the Friday. For sure. Absolutely. Anyway, so you're brand new to the show.
Mhm.
And so, number one, I don't know who lied to you to get you on here. So I appreciate them. I know it was Paul
You
if
know
he's watching.
exactly who it is.
So, you've kind of stepped down a little bit in the world from where you normally speak at to come onto the show. So, I appreciate you guys for doing that.
Well, you have
um,
I've only heard all but good things, so give yourself more credit.
I pay people a lot of money to say those things. So, so we don't have budgets for anything else. We have to
Mhm.
keep our image up. Um,
Exactly.
For people who don't know who you are or what you do, can you give the viewers a little bit of a background of what you do?
Yes. Well, in a nutshell, right now, having my own business, I have contracts with a variety of different organizations. My biggest one right now would be National Child Protection Task Force, and my focus area with them is missing child rescue operations that we do around the country. I work with a lot of task forces and organizations on their human trafficking efforts. Right now, I'm helping a task force develop a law enforcement tool that we're now going to start piloting in 3 different states with 3 different departments. So every day looks a little different. And then I also hopped on a training earlier where I was giving a presentation to a group that I do monthly on wellness in this space, vicarious trauma, kind of dealing with the work that we do every day. So
Ugh,
with that,
yeah.
my background's actually in social work. And I helped start the Human Trafficking Task Force in North Dakota a decade ago. So I've worked with hundreds of victims and survivors. I also worked in the state law enforcement agency and developed their first victim witness program. Prior to all that work, I was in, treatment, foster care, addiction, psychiatric. But of course, now jumping forward into the human trafficking space, a lot of the cyber piece goes hand in hand. And so I've worked closely with law enforcement in that realm over the last many years, working with survivors and helping develop like multidisciplinary teams and protocols and responses to the problem. So that's the long version, the long, complicated version.
Indeed, because when I got your bio, I was like, "Holy cow! How did I get her on my show? That's pretty
Oh,
awesome." You have a really long resume. That's very
yeah,
impressive too, by the way. So I
busy.
want to be the first one to tell you that I appreciate everything that you do. I used to work those types of cases, ICAC cases, CSAM cases. We didn't call them CSAM back in those days, but man, it's just horrible the junk you have to look at all day.
Mhm.
So how do you? I guess that's a good segue into a an uncomfortable topic that I don't like to talk about, but here we go anyway.
Hey, what is it?
How she puts her hands together. This is my
Mhm.
space right here
Yes,
now. I got
exactly.
this.
Let me get my coffee. All right. What do you got?
You got to have your coffee or whatever else you
Mhm.
have in there mixed in
Mhm.
because sometimes
It is
we
Friday.
got other stuff. We got
Yeah.
other stuff that's happening to survive the week. So
Yes.
obviously, a lot of the ICAC investigators, they're dealing with CSAM images nonstop,
Mhm.
constantly. And then if you're from a smaller agency like I was in the lab, we'd have to also assist in the investigations with those based off of our findings, things of that nature. And man, I hated that. That was probably the
Yeah.
worst type. And when I first started, it was probably 90% of our caseload back in those days. What year did I get started in digital forensics? It was like 2002, 2003, something like that. Um, so, yeah, it's pretty terrible. What kind of issues do you see investigators dealing with, or some of the side effects, I guess, of the types of investigations that they have to deal with that you typically see?
Yeah, I think nothing that will shock anyone in the audience, but the things that really go unaddressed, I would say, are what I call the shiny objects. So the things we use to distract ourselves from trying to think about the work. And ironically, sometimes it's actually working more. Like the more we work, the less we have time to actually like sit in our thoughts and process. So part of it is just distracting ourselves with overworking. Part of it is the addiction, shiny object, right? The gambling, the pornography, um, drinking, right? Those types of things. The other area I see a lot, well, two, like one, emotionally, we're just really shut down, and that can look very different for everybody. And I think then lastly would be relationships, whether with your spouse or partner, or you just start to isolate from relationships in general. You start to view the world differently. So, how you connect or lack thereof with people changes. So, and for a lot of people, they happen pretty slowly over time, I would say. And I really started noticing this. In the human trafficking space more because I was working with multidisciplinary teams. So I would have the intel analysts, the law enforcement, medical, social workers, and just over time
Hmm.
developing relationships with those people. And starting, for one, I'm the social worker in the group. So people open up to me in general, and I like to make friends with people. So slowly hearing about people's lives and how they're maybe struggling, or maybe they show up for cases and clients and families differently, or they just stop showing up at all. right? Like people just kind of change or shift, or you maybe do start to see them drink a little more, or whatever that may be. So it was just me seeing over time, like the people I care about in this field changing, is where I really started to shift focus on this vicarious trauma wellness piece, because the less we take care of ourselves, the less we're keeping our community safe. And so it's that idea of like placing your mask on yourself before others, because we have to make sure we're well before we can literally be the saving grace for people's lives sometimes, right? Or that last resort, or that last step for safety and comfort and what have you.
Yeah.
So it's just vital we take care of ourselves in that way.
Yeah. Now, do you find, especially in the law enforcement space, you see it, we're supposed to be these big, tough, macho dudes that doesn't
Yeah.
bother us. But now finally it's getting to be a nice mix, which it should be,
Mhm.
because I think women are better in investigations than guys are. It's just my personal opinion. No hate
Yeah.
on the internet, please. It's just the way I
Yeah.
believe and think.
Be
But
nice to me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you find it that they typically like put that all that junk in a little box somewhere and hide
Mhm.
that away, and again starts surfacing in other fashions?
Yes, we like to think we're compartmentalizing. Compartmentalizing is actually a really healthy thing, because it's like you can organize things in your brain and pull them out to process and work through at a different time. It's like, I know that this image is haunting me, but right now I can put that thought away and focus on the investigation, and I'll like come back to this when I have time to process it. But now is not the time, right? That's how you can do a healthy compartmentalizing. What we tend to do is we say we're doing that, but we're actually creating like Pandora's box. Like we're stuffing it
Mm.
away and thinking we're never going to have to revisit it or never bring it up again. And then at some point it explodes or blows up in some way, shape, or form. For everyone, that looks very different. And a way I talk about this is Dr. Kevin Gilmartin has a book called Emotional Survival for Law Enforcement. And in
Hmm.
there, he talks about Newton's law of attraction. And so I talk about that in trainings all the time, where it's like, there's an action and then there's a reaction. And so this idea that like we're not going to be impacted when this action or event happens at work is just unrealistic. Like there's going to be a reaction or a result from what we're dealing with and seeing. And so let's just focus on that. Let's just be honest about what those things are in ourselves. So yes, we either compartmentalize or we repress it, which it's called in social worky world, and then we think we can just stuff it away and forget about it. But Pandora's box at some point.
100%. And
Yeah.
I recognize the Dr. Kevin Gilmartin. I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, I know this. And I just
Hmm.
looked at the book, and it's actually sitting right there. Can't really see it,
Look at you. You
but
get an A
back there
plus.
on the shelf. And I'm like, I know this name.
Yeah.
I know a
Yeah.
lot of people are surprised to find out at this show that I could read. All right. And actually, I just keep the books back there to make it give the illusion that I can. But yeah,
Yeah,
there
it
they
makes you
are.
look smart.
That's right. That's right. That's
Hmm.
why you always see, like in the news, when they're interviewing someone, there's like all books in the background. It's like I'm
Yes.
instantly smart because I still buy books.
There you go. I could just
Yeah.
put that in my green screen. You should have given us both green screens of
There you
libraries
go. I know
next
that's
time.
one downside about this platform. It doesn't allow green screens, which is
Oh,
really strange, but eh, nonetheless, it's all good. And yeah, I see. Did you see Paul had peeped in the
I
show there?
did.
There he is. See, he's like
Hmm.
glad you're on the
Yeah.
show. Look at that,
Thanks for
Paul.
watching,
We
Paul. We want a full review afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know, Paul, if you popped on after or not, but we were talking about you early show, so uh, about a scooter incident, things like that. But anyway, he'll know exactly what it is. I think he's still got the pictures. I still have the pictures on my phone
Oh
that he
boy.
recreated. Those of you that don't know the story, it's kind of funny. Was at a Dallas. It was a techno when we were in Dallas one year. At least I think it was Dallas. No, it was Denver, the other D place. It was Denver. I hit my head so hard, don't remember where it was at.
Oh no.
And I thought it was like a really good idea to rent one of those super killer scooters that you can get. Don't
First
ever do
mistake.
that
Oh
when you're
no.
drinking.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Don't ever do it.
What could go wrong with a group of cops drinking at a conference getting scooters?
Yeah, at 2 a.m., nothing. It's perfectly
Hmm.
fine at that hour. So, yeah, it was, yeah, the scooter was fine, in all fairness. The scooter was
Okay.
just fine. I come into the conference, and I think Paul was the first one that actually saw me. He was the first witness to to the actual carnage. I had
Oh boy.
scrapes down my face, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan, obviously, and I had like little Yoda uh, band-aids all over my face trying to cover it up because that was day
Oh Lord.
one of the conference, and I
Yeah.
had to work the rest of it. But yeah,
Oh
it was good
Lord.
times. Yeah.
Well, it made for a good opening conversation with everyone who came up to your
Yeah.
booth. I'm sure it was a good,
Oh yeah.
yeah. See, it worked out.
Yeah, I was a big child, so I immediately went to Jen at Techno, who kind of coordinates the
Hmm.
children, me, and apologized. I said, "Hey," and she's like, "What happened?" I just want to say I'm sorry. Don't want to
Yes.
draw undue attention.
I am certain as conference planners, they have seen many worse things and have many other stories. I can only imagine for a conference of that size. So,
Oh yeah, for sure. Speaking of
mhm.
that, another good segue. These natural conversations are going well. You're speaking West here in
Yes,
not long, a month, two
not
months,
long.
a month.
2 months. I think 2 months. I'm really
What
excited.
is it? It's August.
Yes, it's in October, end of
That's right.
October, Techno West, right? Um, I just started getting more in the tech space on the vicarious trauma wellness side. I presented on it at National Cybercrimes a few times, and then last year they had me develop an entire like breakout wellness room with speakers, which was super cool. And so someone else recommended Techno West to me in the Northwest ICAC, which I'm presenting at both in October. But not only am I getting to do wellness, but I've had this vision to put together um, a training that's really geared towards human trafficking online, right? Like the different types of aspects or dynamics to how someone's trafficked and groomed online,
Mhm.
similar crimes, what have you. But then for me to get involved is like the victim piece. So I've got at Techno West two really incredible speakers, an Intel analyst and a chief DA out of Brooklyn, who I'm friends and colleagues with. And so we're kind of going to take people through that. Like, here's some basic HT online stuff. Here's a couple case studies. Paul with Data Pilot will be there with us, talking about how they use Data Pilot with those cases. And then I'm going to walk people through like, what do we need to consider or understand about victims of these crimes? Why you as the investigators should have an awareness of what they're going through, or maybe how to talk to them, because your cases are going to be more successful if you understand victim mindset, if you understand what they're dealing with, and you understand different approaches and ways to work with them. So we're trying to pull kind of three different aspects of these crimes together in one presentation. So it's the first time we're going to be doing it, and I'm very excited.
Wow, that sounds like
Yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot, but we'll look it up before when and what day it is and what time, so people can go and make sure they check it out. And I just noticed that Allison is was in the
I did
audience
too. Yes.
from Techno.
She's the one I harassed originally about the wellness stuff, and she jumped on it. So I always appreciate when
Yes.
people understand the value in those pieces. So yeah, and everyone speaks so highly of Allison. So everyone knows who I'm talking about when I bring her in the conference up.
Yep, absolutely. I don't know how she keeps all the crazy speakers in line and in order. But she does a great job over there for the Techno crew.
Well, Allison, I will not be riding on a scooter after too many drinks at 2 a.m. I assure you. So do
The
know
drinks
that. I
part is
might be
just a
out till
rumor.
2. Yeah, well, I might be out till 2, but I will not be riding scooters. Yeah.
It's funny. I talked to obviously a lot of cops at these conferences, right? And I was talking to the Denver PD, and they go, "You know how many people like actually crash and like some people die from those things?" And I'm like, "What? Like, why
Yeah,
can't there like be a big warning on it, Kevin? Don't."
I know. Don't do it. Because that would be the reason you would do it. You'd be like, "Don't challenge me, scooter. I'm gonna,"
That's right. I
that's what would have happened anyways.
I I will win.
Hmm.
It's an ongoing joke now within my family here. Every time we're driving, we see a scooter, and they're like, "Dad, no," and I'm like, "I'm gonna win that
Yeah.
thing one of these days, and I will
Hmm.
beat it and not die, hurt my head."
Wow.
But yeah,
Yeah. Can't win them all.
well, you can just maybe fall off a few times, but you'll win it eventually. Hopefully, that's
Yeah.
the way we
Practice.
roll. So, an area that I was thinking about starting, excuse me, inside of Cyber Social Hub has to deal with um, the topics that are right up your alley.
Okay.
Um, Man, and I would love to talk to you more offline about those because I'm always looking for different ways to keep Cyber Social Hub interesting to new people because, I don't want it to become like a Facebook or something, right? I want it to
Yeah.
be obviously providing information and knowledge constantly um, to folks. And this is something we've been long overdue for. And we can talk more offline about it, but I would love to have you, number one, back on the show. We're not done yet. We're only 20 minutes in. And I already want you back on the show, and maybe a full blown webinar, or we have an event in the winter in December that it's our online event that we do. I think
Okay.
it's 3 days. Um, just give you a whole session to talk without me distracting you from actually the smart stuff. Um, and yeah, if you're interested in that, that'd be awesome.
Always, of course.
Yeah, see how I hold you that to a live audience. So you guys heard
Yeah.
her say it. So now she's
Hmm.
bound contractually
I'll be there.
to it.
I'll pencil in the
Oh.
dates.
Oh, Jen is listening in too, Paul says, but doesn't have a way to comment, but she's listening. Awesome.
Good.
Awesome.
Jen has been lovely
Oh,
as well.
yeah, there's a Kevin Hendricks.
Oh,
There's a
Kevin with an E
Kevin.
is
That's right. He
here.
spells his name wrong. I don't
I
understand
know.
that. You'd think you would have
I
corrected
know.
him all these years later.
I have to be nice to him though, because I'm going to see him at another conference, a human trafficking conference in a few weeks. So I don't want him heckling me in the back of my class. So I better be nice.
Uh, Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about, I remember, oh gosh, I'm going to go way back here. I was trained well, not trained. I took courses while I was active law enforcement on human trafficking.
Hmm.
And, the area I'm from, I don't know if you know where Lima, Ohio is at. If you do, I was going to think less of you because no one should know where that little town is at, right?
Okay.
Lima stands for Lost in Middle America. It's an acronym.
Hmm.
Not many people know that. And
Hmm.
it's actually halfway between Toledo and Dayton. And if you don't
Okay.
know where those are, you're better yet. Um, so that's where I was a cop at. And I remember taking human trafficking courses there. And as a cop, I'm just watching this instructor going, this stuff does still not go on. There's no way
Hmm. Hmm.
that this still happens. And then obviously I was pretty young in my career at that point. And then as I went through and moved into digital forensics, I was like, holy crap, this stuff goes on. It happens.
Yeah.
And the people that may not be active in law enforcement that are watching or involved in these types of cases, how prevalent is human trafficking, and what form does it typically look like?
Well, I think it's you're right. It certainly is more prevalent than we give credit to in terms of should say to back up people outside of our worlds assume it's what you see on TV, right? It's the taken scenario. It's now this whole Walmart thing where people are throwing zip ties on cars. Apparently, traffickers are putting zip ties on cars and abducting people, and that
What?
just like boils my blood. It's all over the social media where people are like, "Be careful if you see a zip tie on your car. That means you're going to be trafficked." And I just want to give a big face palm, but it's no one's fault, right? Like if you're not exposed to or in the work, you would have no other way to gather that information or be educated on that. So it's certainly more prevalent, sex and labor trafficking, than people realize. I think too, in like your world, the cyber world, it's truly out of control. And I don't think people always understand how human trafficking can look online or different components of other cyber sex crimes where trafficking is a piece of that puzzle, but we don't necessarily look at it that way. We label it some type of exploitation or again some cyber crime or cyber sex crime, but we forget this component of someone benefited from the exchange of sex where there was a production made and someone was forced or coerced into making that video or that image, and then someone else organizes the sale of video. So I think those things get overlooked or people don't
Hmm.
want to view that as human trafficking, but it can reach, it can meet the definition of sex trafficking in some online piece. And then you have other pieces of it like sextortion, which is blackmail. Basically, if you send a sext or a video or a photo and someone now uses that to blackmail you to get what they want, that can also end up being a trafficking situation where you were forced to produce and or have sex with someone, right? So there's different pieces of it that I think happen all the time. I think people use it as a way to solicit minors to exchange something of value with them. Hey, if you like meet online and say, hey, if you meet up with me and give me a blowjob, I'll give you a case of beer, right? I mean, things like that that can meet the definition of trafficking when someone is being solicited for sex for something of value. So just thinking outside the box on what human trafficking is and the different ways of which that can look. Sorry to throw out the BJ word on here, but we're all adults and that's what human
Just don't get
trafficking
me
is.
dinged from YouTube is all I ask. I don't care about the other networks. So I've gone 5 years and
Okay.
not one
So
strike.
sorry. I should have asked you. Dang it. I
I'm
probably
always
just
worried when Kevin Hendricks is on, but now I got to
this
worry
is
about
true.
Melissa now too.
I'm
Got it.
sorry.
No,
I should have
we should
asked you
be good.
before we started if I can
Yeah,
swear.
I
So
don't actually. I don't even know the rules to YouTube. I talk about them a lot, but I just make it up as I go. And I just
so
been
what
lucky.
happens?
Haven't got dinged.
Our whole thing will be
No, they'll give
next.
me a strike on my channel,
Mm.
um,
Oh no.
and I don't know what that means. So I guess
That
there's
means you're
three
never gonna
strikes,
have
you're
me
out
back.
rule.
That means I'm not gonna present at your conference in December is what's
That's why
happening.
we go over to Rumble after that. So we broadcast to both just in case because everybody that
I'm
got
fired.
deplatformed, we did that years ago when everybody got deplatformed on YouTube. Again, we love you, YouTube. We're still here.
Yeah.
And then they went over to Rumble to try to make money. Now everybody's on TikTok. So and
Yes,
yeah,
this is true. Here's a fun fact, something in my life I did not want to happen. I had a TikTok I made about human trafficking go viral, and it's the
really,
worst thing ever. I would never want to be a social media influencer, is all I've learned from that, because I'm so passionate about like education that I put this video up regarding this documentary, and a ton of my friends and family were asking me really good questions about it. Like, hey, is this trafficking? What do you think? And then someone was like, you should put a TikTok out there. Like, people are like misspeaking about it. So you should just talk about it. I'm like, okay. Well, it has like 300,000 views and over 1,000 comments. And I'm, again, passionate about it. So I'm like trying to answer every single person's question. So I'm already, speak of 7 days a week. It's my own fault I work 7 days a week, because now I'm sitting
right?
on 1,000 comments in all my free time. Like, well, this is actually, and you should consider, and yeah, you're great question. And I'm going down this whole TikTok rabbit hole. So, maybe you would like that because you're in this socially world, but man, I was not prepared.
I uh I like TikTok because I watch and I know everyone's gonna be shocked about this. I watch a lot of conspiracy stuff and it's great.
Hmm.
It's all over TikTok, aliens, all that stuff. I
Yes.
love it. And I can't find it on normal TV except
Mm-mm.
for the Y files. I do like that. But yeah, if you've not watched it, I highly recommend. And
Who is
I'll
the
wait till
guy?
comments.
Is it Mr. Ballin who talks about all these different like crazy hidden conspiracies, or do you know who I'm talking about on TikTok? I love watching his stuff.
No, I
Um,
don't. I'm gonna have to go search
okay.
for him now because I love
Well, I'll
watching that
find it and
stuff.
send it to you because yeah, I can go down that rabbit hole too myself. So.
Oh, that's freaking awesome. Yeah, I know. I love that stuff, and it's funny. So speaking of all truth being on TikTok, um, so my wife sees these videos, right, of back to the human trafficking piece. Is like if you see a dollar laying on the ground, don't pick. Oh, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
don't
Sorry,
pick it up.
I'm terrible with my
No,
nonverbals.
well, you see it all over that crazy place, right? And you're like,
Yeah,
there's no way that could be true.
yeah.
But I've seen crazier stuff in the news media that they've claimed to be
Hmm.
true is not true. So, who knows? So yeah, I don't know who that person is, but
Ooh,
you've got me pinned.
mystery. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got me pinned. So yeah, there's no
Well,
surprise
and
there.
I shouldn't do the eye rolly thing because again, people who are not exposed to the work, it's just my cynical brain taking over when I'm like, oh, it's just because we hear it so much. And honestly, I think the reason it frustrates me is it just doesn't give voice to like the victims and the survivors, because you
Hmm.
think of a jury, like if you have someone who was trafficked, maybe they were solicited and coerced online, right? And it leads to a human trafficking situation. Well, if people only assume trafficking can happen because I picked up a dollar on the ground or someone abducted me, it's going to be extremely hard to convince a jury, you get where I'm going with this. So I think that's why I get so eye rolly, because I'm
Yeah.
like, this is literally impacting people's lives their ability to, have a successful life, their ability to feel justice and what's happened to them. So I just get so passionate about it, because it's like this narrative is harming the people that, are being victimized every day, whether online or not. So, oh yeah, Mr. Bond does the odd mysteries and weird stories. Thank you. And they're true. I will send him, you'll go down the rabbit hole with him.
Are true. They're
Yes.
on TikTok. They must be. So
Well, I think he's former military.
all
Like
about it.
he's
Oh, is
legit.
it?
He's got a good rap sheet of, I think, if I'm thinking
I'm
of the
gonna go.
right guy.
I'm gonna check it out. I am gonna
Yeah,
check it out. Dang you! There goes my weekend right there.
I
It's just gone
know.
now. I'm supposed
Sorry.
to be getting stuff done.
Well, and I'm supposed to be encouraging wellness, which would be don't go down the rabbit hole of all these
Yeah,
dark things. You should be doing healthy, non-worky activities. Yeah,
that's
see, he
right.
is a former SEAL. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, so he's on YouTube, so we know it's true.
yeah.
YouTube's much better
Mhm.
because I'm on YouTube, so we know everything
Right,
here is good. Everything
exactly.
here is
Everything's
really
legit.
good.
Mhm.
100%, 100%. So again, I want to put that to rest. How often, if you know the numbers here, I have never looked up the stats. People in Walmart, Target, any shopping center, you fill it in there because I don't want to get sued by
Mhm.
those people. I'm not saying you guys are doing it, by the way.
Right.
How often do you think that ever happens? Do you know any real
Doesn't.
stats that? Yeah,
No.
I've
And
not
here's
ever heard of anything, but
no. Here's what I will say, and people ate me alive on TikTok, which just makes me laugh, because now, you always get the comments and people are like, how do I know you're not a trafficker? And I'm like, okay, well, I guess you're right. I could be, right?
oh,
But
jeez.
yeah, but people eat me up about like, well, this, I know this girl, tag her in the TikTok. Here's her story about almost being abducted and trafficked in the Walmart parking lot. And so it's always this conversation around, could someone have maybe potentially been kidnapped or abducted or drugged in a Walmart or Target or whatever parking lot? Again, not that we're assuming those places. Sure. But where does it say that we know for sure that they were going to be sold into sex trafficking? Where's the case that was reported to law enforcement where law enforcement said, yep, there was an identified trafficker who went to Walmart to, those cases do not, you can't find them, right? And so, sure, someone may have been following you in Target, but that doesn't mean you were about to be sex trafficked and abducted into the sex trade and never be seen again. To your point, that doesn't happen,
Hmm.
right? Those cases aren't out there. Um, and someone will find the one case that's ever happened in the history of the world and, school me on it, fine. But think of the thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are trafficked, right? And then you have maybe one case where someone was drugged and abducted in Target, but I have never seen it in the
Yeah,
decade I've done this. So,
yeah. Now, some of the folks here in the audience do know. Uh, I married number one way out of my league. My wife is beautiful. This is a true story. Now, there's no dollar bills involved in the Walmart
okay.
parking lot or Target, but I won't name which one it was. But there was this, I'll just say, foreign person um, following her around one of the big box stores and like
Mm-hmm.
literally taking pictures of her.
Mm-hmm.
And it made her so nervous where she would actually call me. It's like, hey, this guy is taking pictures of me. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you get your butt up to an employee, a manager, like right now and just hang out with him because I don't
Yeah,
know what's going on.
for sure.
So yeah,
You're
creepy,
right.
creepy
And you
stuff.
bring up a good point. Those things can happen, and like awareness, just general awareness of your surroundings and a little vigilance is great, because you don't know what's going on around you. But again, was your wife about to be abducted and sold into trafficking? I don't think so. Was that a creep with other creepy intentions? Yeah, absolutely. But could he have been dangerous? Yeah, sure.
Could have
But
been.
that doesn't mean they're a trafficker.
Yeah, I mean, she
I
won't
mean,
travel
I'm
to the
glad
Middle
she's
East with me because
yeah.
she thinks I would own her at that point.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. Yep.
It is what it is.
Mhm. Yes. Well, we're all glad she's safe and okay, and creepy
Yeah,
guy
hundred
disappeared.
percent, 100%. She gets that
Mhm.
often. I mean, she married one, a creepy guy, but she just deals with this one often a lot. Oh my goodness. So let's talk about the wellness side of things. What sort
Mhm.
of how do you even recognize that you're having issues? Because self-perception is such a difficult and challenging thing that
Yeah.
you can say, hey, this stuff doesn't bother me. I'm not affected by
Mhm.
it. On we go and I'm doing it. What signs should someone that's doing these types of investigations look for, number one, in themselves, and what kind of things can they do in their life to kind of help make things better, right? To not that
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it personally myself. That's why I'm asking you now.
Well, everyone's a little different. So I always say trial and error,
Mm,
right? Something might work for a minute and then you're kind of over it and you got to shift gears. But I think to your point, self-perception, which can be really hard, you have to be open to having honest conversations with yourself and people around you. So for me, my significant other, father of my child, is also in law enforcement. So people are like, "Oh,
mm,
that must be great. Like you guys kind of have the same mindset." And I'm like, "Yes, and like." When I'm trying to help him, he'll be like, "Don't social work me." I tell people that story all the time. But then on the flip side, like he'll come home from work still like alert and in work mode, right? And I'm
mm,
like, like pump the brakes, right? So there are times where it helps, but times where we both have to take a step back and be like, okay, our professions are like impacting this conversation. But I don't know why I just totally took a turn down that road. But I think, the honest conversations. I think part of it is you have to ask the people in your life, what are you like on a bad day? Like have the conversation,
mm,
like, hey, how have I changed since getting in this profession? Like how have I changed from your perspective? Have some insight into how it's affected other people because we have changed, right? Being in this type of work, I guess that can be positive too. So I think first and foremost, have honest conversations with people around you and yourself. I think for me, I started just being honest with some of the thoughts that I've had that have shifted. One story I've started telling a lot when I train, because this just happened, was I was at the park with my daughter a few months ago, and there was a grown man who was there with a bunch of small children. So, to someone in the community who doesn't do our work, probably don't think anything of it. What do you like?
right.
What do you think I'm thinking? I mean, I'm like
Right.
lasered in on this man. I'm like, you're for sure a pervert. Like, what are your intentions? And
Right.
that's I mean, that's not, that could be true, but that's super irrational and like unfair. And also it's like a really cynical way to see the world. And so you have to start recognizing some of these like subconscious things we do or thoughts we have and start thinking like, how is that impacting me? So now I'm like lasered in over here and like I'm obviously still paying attention to my daughter, but it's affecting that moment. So thinking about those things and how they affect you. And I think taking a look at what things have you added to your life that are negative or what things have you removed from your life that were positive. So a lot of people start to isolate. Like maybe you used to do poker night with your guy friends or play in a sports league or a book club, whatever it is. And we start to pull
Mm,
away from like the social things that can rejuvenate us and give us a breather and a break. So paying attention to what things have we pulled away from that are positive. And then I think on the flip side, what negative things have we, the shiny objects again? Like, am I drinking more? Am I avoiding home? Am I cheating? Am I addicted to what have you? Am I just completely emotionally shut down? Am I just really angry all the time or whatever? So, having to sit down and just be really mindful of how the work is impacting you and just be more aware of that as you go through life. And so, I think first and foremost, you have that. And, then you have to be open to talking about it. Not all the time. There are solutions you can have where you don't have to talk about your feelings, right? However, I would really encourage people to start thinking about that. And maybe you start with just writing a couple things in your phone that nobody else sees, or journaling, or talking to a close friend, or whoever it is. But I would just say to start working through it as you're comfortable. And then just implementing little things. I think for me, I started doing what I call habit stacking. So, what's something you automatically do every day, which would be like brushing your teeth, hopefully, and like getting in your car. These types of things you just automatically are doing every day. So, what is a new habit you can stack onto something that you automatically do just because you wake up every day? So, for me, like after I brush my teeth is when I do a little meditation where I just sit and, it doesn't have to be like, sit and ho hum. But for me, it's like maybe on YouTube for 5 minutes, I'll say like positive thinking meditation for the day, or, you know, um, whatever, just something like I just type in 5 minute meditation. So after I brush my teeth, what's my new habit that I'm going to do? Maybe for you, your new habit is to like sit with your significant other for 5 minutes before you get ready for work and just check in. Or your new habit is I'm going to go to the gym in the morning after I brush my teeth. So you get where I'm going with that. Like habit
Right.
stack, so it's easier to do, day-to-day changes, and they can be small. Like it is the basics sometimes: diet, exercise, sleep. None of us sleep enough, but sleep is literally our body's like recovery process. Um, so not underestimating the power of that, taking a digital detox for a little bit, those types of things. And so you can easily implement those. And then I think at the workplace, for most of you that work in front of a screen with CSAM all day, every day, like how is your office set up? Do you have your computers here with all of your pictures of your family right behind it, and your little Zen garden and plant that's half dead, right next to your computer? Or do you have all your worky stuff here and then you like turn your chair 180 and then behind you is your family pictures? Like separate your office space like visually. So this is work, and when I turn around, like that's where my snacks are, and my my little breather and my quote on the wall that I like, and my picture that from the beach trip I took that one time. So I think that this doesn't have to be this giant lift to be well. It just takes a little honesty, and it takes a little change. Like we got to implement some of these things and hold ourselves accountable to do that.
Yeah,
That was
100%.
a long answer.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, extremely cynical. Yeah, I mean, to kind of go on that note a little bit is it took me a long time. I've been out of law enforcement now full time since 2012. I still keep my commissions. I may let those go this year finally, but you just never know when you might need them again, right? Sure.
I guess not. Yeah.
And but
Somebody else.
we deal with, I think, and again, I don't know if the stats true or not. It's less than 10% of the population you ever deal with, that you're dealing with.
Mhm.
Most of the people are good. It took me a long time to actually see that and realize that, and
Yeah.
not everybody's a turd, right? To use
Mhm.
other language. So it does. You see a lot of things and you perceive the world maybe a little bit differently
Yeah.
um, as you go down those
Mhm.
rabbit holes in your own brain.
Well, and what's funny about that, speaking of differences between like cops and social workers. So to your point, like everywhere we go together, myself and my significant other, like I see him and I tease him, like he is profiling people. He's looking, and on one hand, like that makes me feel safe, right? Because he's always
Yeah.
kind of on. But to your point,
Right.
like he trusts no one, and he assumes everyone is up to no good.
Hmm.
And then as a social worker, like I am taught to immediately see strength and skill in people. So like I'm very hyper vigilant with and like have a hard time relaxing, but I want to lean towards like I want to trust this person until they give me a reason not to. And his mindset is like I don't trust you at all until you give me reason to. And so when
That's
we're
right.
out together, and so that's interesting. Just that difference, and like Paul's saying too, to like remember to check in on the trauma we cause people in our lives. So if nothing else, well, that can be the motivator of like like a lot of people in this work have said to me, like, I've been mean to my kids, right? Because you come home and you're not over the day and you're still kind of on high alert, and it affects your family. And so, how are we checking on each other too? And I always call it mutual empathy. So, conversations to have in the home. Like my significant other works holidays, on call nights, right? And he's actually in the Marine unit on the water. So if there's a big storm here, like I'm a nervous wreck. I'm like, I hope you come home, tonight. And if we've had an argument, it's even worse. I'm like, now I feel terrible. Like, God forbid, I hope he comes home tonight, right?
Right.
And so having mutual empathy for him, like he doesn't want to be out on call in the middle of the night, but for him to also have empathy for me of like, now she's alone again with our child, and has to take it on herself, or maybe he has to miss a big event, or he can't be at something because you guys have, right, a lot of chaos and unpredictability in your schedules. And
Hmm.
so oftentimes we get mad at each other where I'm like, you're never home and your job, has changed you. And for them, it's you never understand, you never will, versus how do we find that mutual empathy to say, like, I empathize with you because you probably want to be home and you can't be. And like, you're out in the middle of a storm on a boat at 3 a.m. That sounds awful. And then he's saying, like, and now she's alone again and she's worried about me. And that would not be a fun place to be either. Right. So, how are we finding that space of empathy for one another and like using ourselves as a safety net, your relationships versus always finding reasons to avoid and resent? So Paul, thank you for just taking me down that entire rabbit hole that I wasn't going to go down today.
That's why I love the audience. They're actually on topic though. Normally they're talking about something different, which they go
Yes.
down
Oh, and
the
Dan's going to be
squirrel.
presenting at Techno 2, the one you just put up there.
Really?
He's got a really great case study he just presented in Dallas. And people loved him because he took up only like 30 minutes of his hour and a half time slot. So everyone's like, this is great, and we've been giving him a hard time about that ever since. So yeah.
If Allison's still here, she'll get him. So
Yeah.
better not tell that in front of her.
Uh-oh. Sorry.
Shh.
We talked about really great ways that he's going to make it longer. So Allison, it'll be fine. He'll take up his entire time, his entire 2 hours and 15 minutes slot.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, and to mention his point here is I had, at the time when I was doing active investigations, I was kind of, we had just had our first child, and man, it got so hard to do those types of investigations once I had kids. I couldn't do them anymore. So
Mhm.
when I got offered a job outside of law enforcement, I gladly took it, just to get away from it. But now I have 3 kids, and I wouldn't be able to function properly. I don't know how you
Yeah,
investigators with children actually
I don't
do it,
either.
because
Mm-mm.
I would be in trouble. I would guarantee it. I'd be in trouble.
Absolutely. And I think to your point, I guess a lot of people I've talked to have like their lives have completely fallen apart and it's too late when they realize it. And so the
Mm,
goal is like get in front of it and be honest about that and how it's impacting you. Because I've talked to so many people, they're like, I ruined my entire first marriage and my kids didn't talk to me for 3 years, right? It's devastating for a variety of reasons. But what's so hard about it is like you show up every day to literally help save children's lives, and yet like your own children in their lives and your relationship is struggling because you're showing up for and it's such a tricky, devastating space. And I have a friend who works for HSI, and I called him a couple months ago, well, a little longer than that now, and I just was checking in because he recently was transferred to doing like CSAM, and he's got 2 littles at home. And I had
mm.
said, how's it going, how are things? And he's like, oh, it could be worse. And I'm like, that is the biggest lie you've ever told yourself. I'm like,
It's
you
such a
have the
cop answer.
absolute, like, you have the worst job in the world. Like, not just a crappy job, like, you have the
Yeah.
worst job I think exists, like, humanly possible. And you have 2 littles at home. Like, you don't BS me here, or are you just trying to tell yourself that so you don't completely burn out and like lose it? Which is fair too. Like, people have to try to protect themselves and live in their little bubble of denial too. And I get that, it's again the compartmentalizing thing. So yeah, I hear you there. I couldn't do it.
It's rough. So the message is, and this is why I was so excited to have you on today, is because I've never done a podcast episode like this one. And it's so important. In my younger days, I'd have fluffed everything off, right? But now that I'm aging and you can little gray sneaking in, it's important to take care of yourself. And one thing I want to mention here, well, I'll do that second, but Allison did see, so yeah.
Yeah. Dan,
So
I'm
yeah.
sorry. He's gonna call me. Poor guy's also on vacation. I'm gonna get like a rage text, like, how dare you spill the secret? But
Oh yeah,
um,
there it is.
yeah, well, sorry. Oh gosh, I'm in trouble. But it'll be
Yeah.
great. You have 2 months, Dan. You've got 2 months to firm it up. It's a great case study. He'll crush it.
Nah, yeah, it'll be good.
Hmm.
I don't know, but it'll be good. You
Yeah.
got my support. Real quick, also, you're available. I'm seeing the time, and it went by so fast. We're at 10 minutes till, and I want to uh, promote you a little bit. With you offer services to people. Your services. I want you to talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, well, I have like a very hodgepodge schedule. So if people want consulting on wellness, vicarious trauma, if they want training on it, whether within your own agency, I do this for a lot of ICAC offices and such too. And or you have a conference that you'd like me to be at, please send it my way. Those are things I'm happy to support and help you with. Or honestly, if you just want a resource, reach out. I've got a million of them. I'd be happy to share. If you're just looking for a specific app or book or something in that regard, And then on the flip side, the human trafficking piece, again, training, consulting on a project you're doing, or maybe you want to change policy and protocol. Maybe you want to develop a multidisciplinary team response to trafficking in your area, or you just want basic one-on-one training. I also do a lot of training on approaches to working with victims and survivors, but I focus it on law enforcement too. Like, I have a lot of great, easy social work skills that I think you all should use and benefit from, like your cases and your rapport building. It could help, and it's really easy things that I just wish you guys were taught, like in law enforcement world, the fluffy stuff I always call it. But I love to talk to people about different approaches to working with victims and survivors. And then lastly, if your agency is interested in a missing child rescue operation, with the National Child Protection Task Force, we provide free support to your missing child cases at any time, 24/7. We have tons of tech and incredible, brilliant analysts that help all the time from around the country on those cases. But also we do operations where if you've got, 50 open missing kid cases, we bring a team of people there for 3 days and can help you locate, recover, and provide services to those youth. And so we bring in a huge team, even like Meta is there, in TikTok and Cash App and other
Wow.
great tools like Clearview. Yeah. It's just a great initiative, and we help a lot of kids. So if that is of interest in your area, would love to talk to you about that too.
Very cool. I
Lots
put
of
the
stuff.
website in chat on YouTube and Facebook. I will put it down in the descriptions of at least, excuse me, YouTube for sure, probably LinkedIn as well. And it's just all over the place, but also on Podbean. So I'll throw it in those descriptions when we do out the post. So at least hopefully it'll get you a little bit of something.
Sure.
And the main thing is to, you know, the officers and the people that are, having to deal with this nonsense. I personally believe we
Yeah,
shouldn't even have to deal with it
I know.
because of the sick, twisted, things I want to say that I don't want to get myself banned from YouTube.
No, but you're right.
Um,
We're all thinking it. We're all thinking it.
that's right.
Yeah.
So again, and this is why we keep doing what we do on the show. And we've been here for now 5 years, I think, something like that. Is just to give that information to help put these turds away, because they don't need to be out on the street. So again, appreciate everything that you do. And I'm sure we've missed something. What did we miss? We missed something.
Oh, I mean, if you haven't gathered already, I could yap for days. So I'm sure we did too, but just another reason you'll have to have me back someday in your crazy
That's
schedule.
right. I think it should be
Mhm.
a full like webinar thing. So
Okay.
yeah,
That works too.
absolutely. So that way people don't have to listen to me. They can just listen to the smart stuff you have to say.
Well,
Um,
I think you have some smart things too. That's the social worker in me, finding your
I,
strengths.
I'm the smart ass side of things. So that's
We
about
need
it.
that too. We need that too. There's room for everybody.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So, hey, Paul introduced you to me. So, again, thank you,
Mhm.
Paul, for that good recommendation. This was a great podcast. I really appreciate it. Um, Bob, hey, yeah, Bob. That's a good person to know, too. Bob, hope you're well. And Daniel, who I know is going to have a long presentation, probably
Yeah.
go over, which they get equally upset at.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not
I believe it.
there. Don't go over. Um, and Kevin. So again, thanks everybody for hanging out.
Yes.
I will put all of the stuff down into the description of YouTube, so everyone has it. And what's the best way? Is the best way to get a hold of you through the website? I never like to say anyone's contact information
Oh,
because this
um,
is YouTube, right?
this is
But
true.
not that they can't
Website's
go to your
great.
website that I just showed,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's fine. Website, LinkedIn, email, all of it. But yeah, my email's on my website, so
Okay,
easy peasy.
awesome. Oh, yep, there it is. I see. I'm looking at it right now. So, oh,
Perfect.
hey, there's a Brett Schaefer staying quiet and lurking in the background, sir. Um,
Lurking.
yeah, he's kind of hanging out. It's an old person term, isn't it? That's all right.
It's all
I
right.
just showed it. It's all right. So, again, thank you very much. Don't go anywhere. I am going to
Okay.
talk to you in post here, and we're going to set a couple of things up. But for everyone else, thanks for hanging out with us again on a
Yes,
Friday.
thank you.
Really appreciate it. And Melissa, thank you very much for coming
Well, thanks for
and
having
hanging out on
me.
the show. Yeah, your first
Thanks everyone
live
for
podcast
watching. I
ever.
I was nervous, I'm not gonna lie, but it went
Check.
great, I think.
It's
So,
over.
thanks
It's
everybody.
easy. Yeah,
It
easy
was.
stuff, right? All right, don't go anywhere. Everyone else, thanks for hanging out. We appreciate it. Make sure also, real quick, if you hit the like and subscribe button, all those, yeah, see all that stuff. My kids tell me, Dad, you got to tell them to like and subscribe. I'm like, I'm not saying that, but I'll do a little graphic up there to do it. So as you saw, the little graphic that helps us get seen more on all the social platforms when you guys do that. So I really appreciate when you do that. No matter what platform you're on, just hit it. It helps us reach the people that we need to reach. So again, thanks so much, Melissa. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.